What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Mind Something. If you're new here, my name is Jake, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to increase your profit and revenue by as much as 50% on your 30 series GPUs. And if that kind of content sounds good to you, do me a favor, hit that like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so by the end of the video. So if you're using websites like Hashrate.no or What to Mine, they do a great job of trying to keep up with all of these different options there are to mine. They also do a great job with the overclocks, but every once in a while something will slip through the cracks, and there's an opportunity here that some of you may or may not be aware of. One thing that Hashrate.no does not have listed is dual mining Ergo and Alephium. Now, I know that many of you have probably seen this option if you've watched Red Panda Mining's videos with his 6600 XT rigs mining different things, and one of the most profitable choices that he's made is dual mining Ergo, Alephium, and with a little bit of ZIL in there. Now, I personally don't add ZIL to the mix because I find it makes the rigs a little bit unstable, but perhaps triple mining is the best way to go. But what we're going to do today is we're going to compare dual mining Ergo and Alephium to what Hashrate.no says is the most profitable thing to mine. Now, both Ergo and Alephium have done pretty good over the last 30 days as far as price appreciation is concerned, but what makes this duo so special is you have one core algorithm and one memory intensive algorithm. And Ergo already runs cool and uses a little bit lower power than most memory algorithms already, and Alephium, of course, is a very efficient core-intensive algorithm. Now, I'm going to go through my flight sheet here in just a moment and show you how to set this up, but for the meantime, let's go ahead and jump into the spreadsheet and take a look at the numbers. Now, I do have a 3090. Unfortunately, it's in a rig with a bunch of 20 series GPUs spec mining something. So for now, we're going to cover the 3080 Ti, the 3080, the 3070 Ti, the 3070, and the 3060 Ti. And according to Hashrate.no, the most profitable thing to mine at the moment, I believe, is Nexellia. On a 3080 Ti, you're getting roughly 79 cents a day in revenue and about 37 cents a day in profit. Now, each of these are either going to be Nexellia or Pyrin, but with this dual Ergo Alephium, we are getting substantially better numbers on both revenue and profit. Now, I've gone through the liberty of checking a couple of different overclocks, so we have tested a core offset of 310, locked core at 1640, and locked memory at 5001 seems to be the best. So in this case, going for the most hash rate is going to garner not only the most revenue, but also the most profit. You can see as we scroll down here, it starts to get a little bit worse as I was trying to shoot for better efficiency. So here we have core offset of 310, locked core at 1605, and here we have core offset of 310, locked core of 1545, and then lastly, core offset of 310 with a locked core of 1470. Now, usually somewhere between 1305 and 1470 is the best as far as efficiency, maybe not always when it comes to profit. And keep in mind, all of these numbers are calculated at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, so your mileage may vary. Now, if we take a look at our increased revenue percentage, the 3080 Ti came in the highest at 44.3%, but it wasn't quite the highest on the increased profitability, coming in at 37.84%. The 3080 would be the king of increased profitability at 53.33% versus 41.18% in increased revenue. Now, the 3070 through the 3060 Ti did see some pretty significant improvements in revenue, but the 3070 Ti seemed to outperform both the 3070 and the 3060 Ti when it comes to profitability. Now, if you want to take advantage of this particular dual mining option, I'm going to suggest using Rigel Miner. This has actually been available for several months, but it just seems to be flying under the radar. One important thing to note is Rigel Miner is nvidia only, so if you want to do this on your AMD cards, you're going to have to use a different option. So when it comes to setting up your flight sheet, you're going to want to select Ergo as your primary coin, and then once you've selected Rigel Miner, you're going to go into your miner config. So for your first coin, it should automatically select Autolycos 2 as your hashing algorithm, and your wallet worker and template should automatically populate, as well as your pool. Now, in your extra arguments, you are going to include -A Autolycos 2 plus Alephium. It's very important that you add that. And then of course you want to add your overclocks here and your extra arguments as well. For your second coin, you're going to select Alephium as the coin algorithm, and then you do need to paste in your full wallet address here, and you'll also need to put the entire pool URL as well. I suggest using Viper. There's many options to choose from. Now, unfortunately, I have not found this to be very stable when it comes to adding ZIL. Now, you may find that you don't have any issues with it, but I prefer to keep 100% uptime, and I periodically run into issues when I try and add ZIL. Now, I know that Red Panda Mining has added ZIL to his 6600 XT rig, and perhaps that is a good option for you. However, I'd like to point out that Rigel Miner is NVIDIA only, so if you're going to do this on AMD cards, you're going to need to use a different miner. So at the time of recording of this particular video, it is currently March 5th, 2024. Ergo is up approximately 41% over the last year, and roughly 85% over the last 30 days. Now perhaps we will have a pretty significant pullback, or perhaps Ergo will continue to go up in price appreciation. And when it comes to Alephium, it's currently up almost 63% over the last 30 days and 1100% over the last year. So there's a lot of speculation, of course, that Alephium is going to get ASICs. Bitmain has entered the game as far as funding with their hackathon. And so there's a good chance that difficulty is going to continue to increase on Alephium if that is the case. And if we take a look at Alephium's hash rate right now, we're currently sitting at 512 terahash, and we did peak out at roughly 555 terahash recently. That was on February 26th of 2024. Now it does look like it's heading back down, but again, you know, FPGAs are on the network, and there's a good chance that this is going to continue to increase. So it really depends on when you're watching this particular video and whether or not it makes sense to dual mine Ergo and Alephium or something else. But if you're just going off of what you're seeing in Hashrate.no as far as profitability is concerned on your 30 series GPUs, then perhaps you're missing out on other things like this. And a good example of one of those things that you might have missed out on if you weren't watching the channel was Graham. This was very similarly launched the same way that Ton was, and for a while there it was certainly the most profitable thing to mine. Now the price has come back down, it is still mineable, but the amount of coins that you can garner has drastically been reduced because it's only mineable for a specific amount of time, and as time goes by, less and less of it goes into emissions. Now this is currently still mineable, and I'm going to do some tests on it to see where we're sitting at now that price is going back up, and I'll be sure to let you guys know. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. Do me a favor before you go, hit that like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so, and I will see you on the next one.